Welcome to Healthier, Happier Hour, our special summer series. You are in the middle of your summer, probably right now. How do you feel? I'm Kiersten.
What's up? I'm Carly. We're so pumped, so excited because we are going to help you feel better, connect in your relationships, and enjoy your summer. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, this is awesome. I've thought about this every single episode that we've done in the summer series so far. And you know the phrase like, live your best life. I just keep on thinking of like, live. You're like, no, I know the phrase and I don't like it. Live your best summer life. Individually, it's healthier, it's happier, gonna look different for all of us. But I just keep on thinking of like, we can choose that for ourselves, right?
Yeah,
And
sure
we gotta
can.
interject whatever the season is. So this is not like a sexy way of thinking about it, but it works for my brain. If it doesn't work on paper, it's not going to work in real life. And I'm sorry if that was a letdown for you, but we want it to work. We want it to work. And so I'm so excited to dive into our feel better this summer strategy and know that it's just natural. If you like push back in your brain or right away, no problem. That's just natural. But do know if you just like, when you're triggered by something, you can't really learn from it. So when you're kind of working on something, and if you notice yourself like resisting a lot, I feel like you can't learn from that place. So, but like, so I just want you to hold it loosely and say like, what am I supposed to be taking from this today? And if you listen to this, like if you put on your calendar 1 month from today and listen to this exact same episode again, you are gonna hear something else. You are gonna need something else from this episode. So all that to say, I want this to be like a healthy, happy place for you during this time. And I mean, there's certain things that we need to make difficult, but for fun today, let's make this less difficult. Let's make this like hold it loosely and let's have fun with putting this into practice this week. And then if you want to accept my challenge, like think about, listening to it again, put it on your calendar, listen to this again, and then notice what is different from the place you're at and what you maybe need to be reminded of, or maybe it's something different. So good. Ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's do it.
How do you feel about that? Do you have anything to add to that as far as like, let's make this fun? There's lots of things in life that feels like it can be so challenging, and let's just have fun with this week, this strategy.
Yeah. No, it feels like freeing to just say, like, just hold it loosely. Like, it doesn't have to be stressful or big or scary or, anything. Just take what you need from it. And it's going to be different for everybody. And it's going to be different the next time you hear it,
Yeah.
whether that's next month or next week. Because honestly, sometimes I need to listen to something more than a month apart. So maybe that's just me. Slow learner over here. Hello.
No, I totally get that. So the feel better summer strategy, and you can use this any time of year, but I'll try my best to use examples from what your summer might look like. But if your summer looks different than mine, awesome. Like, I'm so glad we have different plans because that makes life so much more colorful and exciting. So the strategy is feeling better because we're putting, it's the primacy effect. We're putting the good stuff on, and let's hold this loosely, the good stuff, the healthy stuff on first. So like filling your plate and filling your schedule with the yeses. Let's keep it with very specific. So filling your plate with the good stuff first and not
Mhm.
focusing on what you don't want to have and setting up your environment to have it conducive for that. So you have more power, obviously, in your house than you do when you're going to a backyard barbecue of someone else's.
Yeah.
So, for example, in your own home, what if you made the like line of sight version, like the healthiest foods, most uh
Mhm.
like the best looking, right? To have those presented in such a way where you see them so they're just as convenient or more convenient than your less healthy options. And I'm not here to tell you what your healthier options are or not. That gets prescriptive and um it's going to be different for different situations and different people with different genetics and different, medical needs and all the things. Uh, but to just make it really simple for most things, I mean, there are exceptions. Don't push back and think of the exceptions. For most things, adding more vegetables, colorful, the rainbow of vegetables in your life is going to probably be good for most of us. I
Yeah.
think it's like 98%. It's
Mhm.
above 80. I feel like it's in the 90th percentile. Not over 90% of Americans are, I believe, are fiber deficient.
I
We're
totally
not
believe that.
getting enough fiber from our foods, and that is so important. And so there's in most vegetables, and most fresh fruits and vegetables, they have more fiber. If you remember our feel better tip, first tip of the summer was hydration. Many vegetables have more water in them, fruit and vegetables. So what if we just like filled up our plate and focused our plate with
Mhm.
putting the great stuff in first, and yeah, then you can pepper in the other stuff, but your focus is on the really good healthy stuff.
Yeah.
So when you're at a barbecue, same deal. Like sometimes I'm just laughing because even at restaurants sometimes, oh my gosh, I laugh because I tell Ethan this all the time. Like, going into a restaurant, I'm like looking at people's food, right? Like, what do I want to order? And like there has been multiple occasions where I'm like, Ethan, I think that guy thinks I was checking him out. I wasn't. I was food.
Just checking out his plate.
So anyway, when you go and let's say all the food is out.
Yeah.
First of all, like bring something that's healthy for you and your family or your partner, whoever's coming with a partner or the with you to the party. Bring something to pass that's healthy for you. So at least you know you have one thing,
Yeah.
right? And so then also oftentimes we can look at the food and be strategic of what we put on our plate first.
Mhm.
We were even hosting the other day, and I didn't set the table up because I had some restrictions on my time, and yeah, anyway, I had some restrictions, and so I didn't set the table up of food. And so when I, was going to eat for myself, I waited until, like, the line died down, and then I went out of order with the order of the way things were presented because I
Mhm.
wanted to fill as many of my base of vegetables before I started adding, like, the nacho cheese at the taco bar, okay? So, um,
Mhm.
but I wasn't thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is so terrible, I'm restricting myself." No, I was like, "Oh my goodness, like, I am adding these really great things to my plate, and I'm gonna feel good." And so my focus
Mhm.
is on what the healthy and the best choices might be first, and then the little things here and there are not gonna be as impactful, um, and I'm not focused on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good, and it was a whole, like, shift in perspective, I think, almost too, is, like, the way you're presenting it is, like, it doesn't have to be this big, scary, "Oh, I'm not getting to have this," or "I'm not getting to have that," or "I'm not," there's no shame, it's just, "Look at what I'm doing for my body that's healthy and happy and good," and it's so much lighter and, like, freeing and fun, and I it's so funny that you're talking about this because the other day, I forget what we were making, something, but we had like asparagus, which my son calls busparagus, by the way, hilarious, and salad. And I made it a goal this summer to just be like, okay, every time we sit down for dinner, like I'm gonna just fill my plate with like colors. That was like my goal. I was like, I just want my plate to be like colorful and like filled with green stuff this summer. And I didn't know you were going to share this as one of the summer strategies. And I filled up with all the green stuff first, and I just felt so good even before I ate anything. I
Yeah.
was like, this just feels nice. Feel happy.
Good. That's so good. I love it because I was gonna ask you, give us a specific goal that you have when it comes to this topic or challenge. So you kinda did give us that goal of
Yeah.
filling your plate up with greens, focusing on
Mhm.
that first, and it even made you happy to look at. And I
Yeah.
think there's something to be said for that. Like, some of the best chefs in the world, their plate is artwork. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm, like, so impatient with the way I do things when it comes to food, art, life, but I forget that sometimes of, like, how that affects our brain of how we see it presented. And so,
Mhm.
wouldn't that be kind of fun? Like, great artwork oftentimes does look good with a little white space. Oh, snap, I might have to rethink the way I, do my plate. Um, so so you told us a goal.
Yeah. So my
Pick
goal is my goal is like filling up my plate with green. I just want my plate to look like green and vibrant and leafy. And that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm only eating salad or I'm only like and nothing like that. I just have felt in my body like I need more fresh green. Like I'm kind of craving that and looking outside, everything's beautiful and green and vibrant. And I'm like, I need more of that. It
Yeah.
makes me happy. And so my goal has just been at every meal, we sit down for family dinner or we're out to dinner or whatever we're doing. Like I'm filling my plate with the greens
Mhm.
first. Like I want more of that in my life and more of that in my body. And it feels good.
Yeah.
Makes me happy.
I'll try to give some ideas quickly, but let's both
Yeah.
say where we get tripped up. We think
Mm.
of where we get tripped up in this area, what comes into mind for you?
Oh, well, go into the negative headspace of I can't have and then fill in the blank. So
Okay.
that's why I liked earlier when you said, like, let's flip this around, let's hold it loosely, let's fill our plates with like, these things we want first and then pepper in the other stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of why I made this my goal. My goal isn't not to have sweets or
Mhm.
not to have ice cream or not to have something. It's just let's fill this up. And I'm still going to have ice cream. I'm still going to have a popsicle.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's going to come after everything else.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, I think where I tend to get tripped up with a school is if I don't plan ahead for having, availability of the things I need when I'm hungry, right?
Mm.
Or, like, if I'm at a picnic and I'm very hungry, I have a big appetite, I get tripped up when there's something not there. So, I need to remember that, and a couple ideas is to when you're in the kitchen anyways, to prep extra
Hmm.
vegetables. I Everyone's situation is different, but for certain things, like baby carrots, I just buy the baby carrots ready to eat, so I can always eat those, uh,
Hmm.
when I'm, like, And then also to think ahead and to either, if I'm running behind, I could have a healthy snack prior to going to the party is an option if maybe I didn't have time to prep something that's like party worthy that has like a bunch of vegetables or a bunch of fruit in it.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. I love it. So it's like perspective. It's putting some it's prioritizing it a little bit. Like your needs are important too. Like we prioritize the needs of so many other people in our life, but your needs listening are important too. Just as important as the other people in your life too. So
Yeah.
that's yay!
Good reminder.
Woo! So share with us how you're doing, how
Yeah.
you're liking the summer series, what you're doing practicing. Snap those pictures of your rainbow plates of beautifulness, if that's a word. And see you next week. We're cheering for you.
Cheer for you. And I'm hungry now.
Oh, yeah.
What's for dinner?